preparing to live stream the meeting. This will be interesting. This will be interesting. And I think we're live. Everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I am from an undisclosed location right now, just like the Landmark 1 and 2 shows. And I'm here with my co-host, Jay Christian Gary, who has luckily not been copyright flagged by Rizin as of this moment. How are you doing, Jay Krish?
I'm doing good. And good evening, everybody. For those of y'all who are actually watching this or listening to this, as we, Andrew, let me rephrase myself. Myself and JayWolf are not in an undisclosed location. I am in, Galveston County, Texas, obviously. JayWolf is in SoCal. How are you, sir?
Excellent. Thank you guys for having me again. I'm looking forward to this episode. We're gonna review the epic Rizin Landmark shows, talk about Ren, and then also make sure the audience knows that we got another epic Rizin event next week, Epic Rizin 34. And make sure
everybody know. Of course.
Yes. Gotta let everybody know. Pride never die. Pride is Rizin. And of course, we're talking about Almighty Pride FC never dying.
Damn right, JayWolf. When it comes down to Rizin, and I'm sorry for interrupting, Andrew, even though it's kind of my thing. When it comes down to Rizin, it took them about close to 3 months. Actually, no. It took them 4 months to upload all that Landmark 1 stuff onto YouTube in probably the build-up to Rizin 2. Do you think that might have hurt Rizin's overall focus on people trying to watch Landmark, or do you think that nobody really gave a shit? We're just gonna watch it as is.
Yes, I think that it was like an extra little bonus to Landmark 2. And if you remember the Live Now people, they had a package deal where you could get the Trigger and Landmark for a package deal, and then they released the Landmark 1 fights the week of the Landmark 2 event. So it was like a nice preview, like a supplemental event to the Landmark 2 event. And it was just so nice. Drew knows this. You too, Jay Krish. You guys know this very well. I was adamant about them releasing that Landmark 1 footage for us, and I was hoping that they would do exactly what they did, which was release it on YouTube for like a preview for the Landmark 2 show. So I thought it worked out great. I loved it.
Exactly. But when you think about, what transpired at Rizin Landmark 1, where the fight card was like 75% finishes, what were your overall thoughts after looking back at that whole YouTube playlist of highlights?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a great like a preview into the second Landmark event. It was great. I watched them right when they came out with you. I mean, we were up and we saw them drop live, and then we checked them out live, and it was really cool. And we can review those quick if you want to before we get into Landmark 2 and talking about Ren.
Exactly. And speaking of Rizin Landmark 1, it was 3 finishes. I think you had 2 knockouts, 1 submission. Obviously, the decision, which was Kyohei Hagiwara losing to Mikuru Asakura, right?
Yes. Hardcore action, bro. And Hagiwara.
Well, that's what I gotta ask you about that fight, JayWolf. That was a big fight that was highly promoted. It was a big fight. The first fight on Unext supposedly was the reason why 800,000 people in Japan got Unext subscriptions just to watch that one fight. Were you disappointed? What do you think of this fight? I was personally disappointed. I thought kind of with the shit talking, it's kind of like, I expected more. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. There was some good action sequences in it. I mean, basically, it just was missing the finish. But I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I thought that you're being a little bit too harsh on it because it didn't have a finish, but and it didn't, I guess, live up to your expectations for the amount of shit talking they were doing to each other. I guess it didn't live up to that for you. But I thought it was a good fight. And it's good showing from Asakura Action Bro Mikuru, and that's why people were buying that for Unix, because Mikuru Asakura, he's a superstar over there. He's got the most. I think CJ was saying he's got the most Twitter or YouTube followers or something like that. He's got like millions of them or something, and he's like one of their most popular fighters. So that's why he was headlining, and he really showed out in that fight. He showed that he was the better fighter that night. With Hajiwara he just was not on that level that night, and Azakura actually, but he did what he needed to do to get the win, and it had everything except the finish. Basically, it was a cool fight though.
I think CJ said it best. Our buddy Charles Jewett from Sokokaku. He says that Hagiwara needs to do more wrestling. That's what he said. He said that Hagiwara has really not good wrestling defense. And I don't know. Would you agree with that, JayWolf?
Yeah, well, it just wasn't as good as Azakura's was. I mean, Azakura was clearly the better fighter, and that's exactly how he was able to beat him, was with his spear wrestling. So that's I mean, CJ's right on. Hagiwara's got to work on that wrestling, and so do a lot of fighters though, and Ren included. But I mean, they both showed growth in their fights. I mean, it's just Azakura was just better that night.
And what you do you think these two will ever fight again? Do you think this is a match that's worthy of having a rematch? You know, I think so. I think these two need to have a rematch at some point.
Sure, maybe throw them in a Grand Prix, you know, and have a rematch in a Grand Prix, or you know, maybe when down the line have a rematch for like a #1 contenders fight or whatever. Yeah, you can always rematch them. That's not a problem. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Like I said, it was a good fight. It just didn't have a finish. That's all.
Of course it didn't, but it's just, I mean, of course it didn't, but it's just crazy that, you know, when it came down to not just Rizin Landmark 1, but Rizin Landmark 2, especially what we're going to talk about in a matter of moments, what I liked was the pacing of the fight card. Like, basically, especially for Rizin Landmark 2, you had no intermission coon coming in and ruining things. You had one fight after the other being just wall-to-wall bangers. And we basically only had like 4 fights for the first card, 5 fights for the second. So even though time flew by so fast, we still got to enjoy it like it was a regular-ass big-time Rizin extravaganza.
Yeah, I would actually like them to put a little bit more fights on there. I think 4 to 5 fights, just a little bit too it's just too quick. And for like, it was difficult for us to watch it because we over here in America, we have to stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning to watch it. And it was actually, we didn't get to see the first landmark, but the second landmark started at 2 a.m. on the West Coast, 5 a.m. on the East Coast. So for you guys, it would be easy just to get up and watch it early. Like for me, what I had to do, after the UFC, I went to
Not at all, JayWolf. This show was on at 5 a.m. my time. I was not willing to get up at 5 a.m. to watch this.
Yeah, it was on a brutal start time, but man, it was a lot of fun. I couldn't resist, so I had to try to stay up and watch, and I did. But man, it knocked me out for 2 days afterwards. It was good, but I just think it would have been cool if I had just like 2 or 3 more fights, 7 or 8 fights. I think would be a nice long, good 2-3 hours card. Like what they were trying to do, I think, is have like a compact like hour and a half program. I think with the 4 to 5 fight card like that. So
here's the other thing I've also that CJ also said on, and you can check him out on Sokokaku. Let's talk JMMA with Shu Hirata, the Japanese MMA manager. They said he thinks that these are shows that are geared towards a casual audience. So, people that are not MMA fans, people that are only casually know of MMA. So that's why they usually have like one big fight, like a Mikuru or a Ren. And here's the thing, the average non-MMA fan doesn't want to sit down and watch 12 fights, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fights. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's absolutely right. I think that these are geared towards, a different type of audience that doesn't want to watch 16 fights like, you, Jay Krish, JayWolf, Jack Wannon, that we will watch on a weekend.
Okay, so you don't think it was too short then? You thought it was nice?
Oh yeah, no, I watched the show in one sitting. The next day, 2 hours, not even 3 hours. Well, the Landmark 2 was not even 3 hours. So it was like, I thought like listen, to me, it's not about quantity but quality. You know, you can have if you have 5 great fights, I'd rather have 5 great fights than 10 okay fights. You know, if you could do your story in 2 hours and 90 minutes, why do it in 2 hours? You know, it's like why make a Batman movie that's 3 hours long? It doesn't make any. You don't need to.
Because we wanted more. It left us wanting more.
Oh, then you know, split it up. You know, I mean, like next month we get the 2 Rizin shows back to back. I don't know how many fights you're gonna do between the 2 shows. But like, you know, I would assume you do like 8 to 10 fights for the Rizin 35, and then for the Rizin Trigger, and then 8 to 10 for the Rizin 35. So you know, you don't want to burn out your audience with too much shit, because then it kills the vibe, as they say, as we say in New York.
I think as much as you can get. I mean, especially now that internet kids are coming back. All Japan card, and then 35, and the third Trigger event. They're going to have international athletes. I cannot wait.
But also, I'm just saying from the perspective of a casual fan, someone who's not used to watching 16 fights or 15 fights. This show is tailor made for them because, listen, you know, if they're not going to watch the 16 fight card, what type of show will they watch? Okay, maybe they'll watch a show that's shorter. You know, that to me, that makes sense. It's why you would have a shorter show, because listen, we'll tune in regardless, but the casual fan may not tune into is not going to tune into Rizin Trigger to see two regional guys from Nagoya have a kickboxing fight. That's not going to happen. So you load up the show with names, or at least well-known names for MMA and kickboxing, and then the casual fan sees there's only 4 or 5 cards. They're like, okay, you know what? I can watch this in one sitting, or you know, whenever, or I'll just watch a Ren fight, or I'll watch a Mikuru fight. That's why I think these shows are perfect for the audience. I think that they're trying to go after.
And they air them at prime time and Japan time, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning is like their prime time, like 7-8 o'clock at night there. So you're absolutely right. That's what it is. They're doing. That's how Combate Global with the original UFC creator Campbell McLaren. That's that, and Mike Afrowitz, another guy involved martial arts for a long time. That's how they're from Combate Global does it. They do a quick hour and a half show, 3-4 fights, and that's it. And then
but here's the thing though, Combate Global, they do their shows on Univision late at night. I mean, even though they basically do the live show, the full show on Paramount Plus, at least nowadays, or DAZN or Access TV beforehand, they do a 1-hour show in Spanish or more late at night on Univision. But whenever there's an event happening.
East Coast and I mean, in the Central Time and East Coast time, it's prime time in Mexico and Southern California time, West Coast time. It starts right at 9 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock for the prelims. So that's prime time for us. I think that's what the concept is behind those short shows. I think that's exactly what Andrew's talking about, and what Sakakibara-san, the Rizin people, are doing with the landmark shows, trying to have headliners to attract a casual audience and put them in prime time and have a short, quick show in prime time to try to attract the casual audiences. I think Drew's exactly right.
Please don't give me credit. No, that was all CJ who said that. Charles DeWitt. That was all him.
Correct.
So give him credit. Don't give me credit. I'm just stealing his thoughts.
Okay, yeah, he's definitely correct. I think that's exactly what it is. But I mean, as a huge fan of Rizin, I just would like more.
Before we actually go into the next fight, gentlemen, I just have to ask you this: what do you think about these shows being in undisclosed locations, parts unknown, as we would say in the pro wrestling world? JayWolf, what do you think about that?
No, I think it's cool, but at the same time, they don't even show the location for the events. They have like these like screens in the background with the Rizin logo plastered up on it. I mean, they're going to have them at a landmark location, show the landmark location on the screen. You know what I mean? Or have it in the background or something. Like, wasn't there going to be like a YouTube boxing match or something on the top of a huge building on like a helipad on top of a huge building somewhere over there in like Dubai or something like that?
So yeah, there's supposed to be a match between Floyd Mayweather and some like Billy the Rich Kid out in Dubai.
Yes, and it's supposed to be up on top of a huge building on a helipad, right? See that, and that was the type of concept I was thinking that Landmark was going to do. Have their events at big landmark locations in Japan, but they like you couldn't see any of the background. They had like these screens with the Rizin logo, and that was it. So
they hide them very well. I'll give them that. They don't want us to know where they are. They're hiding it very well. They really are.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. I mean, it kind of for the fans. They probably think it's cool, like it's like going to like an underground fight club or something. You don't know where the location's at. You get, you find out last minute or something, and then or only the people that bought the tickets know where it's at or something like that. I mean, it's probably cool for the live audience and stuff. It's just kind of funny for us that we don't know where it's at.
Jay Krish, as an XFL fan, or I'm assuming you're an XFL fan. I'm gonna guess you must have loved the drone cameras that they used for these shows.
I didn't even realize that there were drone cameras for the shows, but it's pretty damn cool how they made them effective.
I don't know why they should use the drone cameras for the regular shows, for the numbered shows, and for the trigger shows. I don't know why they don't do that. I love those drone camera shots that they were doing. I don't know why
that was the first time they used it, right?
I think it was, yeah. Oh yeah, they've used the I think they've used the 3D camera or the whatever that is, that camera. I think it's a 3D camera for the numbered shows. But like, I don't know, like, yeah, I love the drone cameras. I just love it. I just love seeing the camera, the thing circling over everybody and just like capturing the atmosphere. I really like that a lot. I don't know why they don't use it more often.
I think they will. You'll see them from now on. I think that was the first time they use it. Excuse me. And I think that for the next couple shows, we're going to see that be implemented more and more and more. And I bet you it's going to become a main thing. Like remember the ref cam? They do that sometimes in Epic Rizin as well. And they're probably going to add this drone cam is going to be a new thing just like that.
Actually, that's the thing. If anybody ever insults Pride or whatever, always tell them they invented the ref cam. I don't remember any MMA promotions ever using a ref cam before then, as far as I know.
The GOAT.
We're going to continue on with the Landmark 1 card quickly. After the main event, Hiroaki Suzuki defeated Keisuke Okuda. Suzuki becoming a Landmark regular, Okuda a Dragon Gate wrestler. JayWolf, any thoughts on this quick ass fight?
Yeah. It was just a regular knockout. We got him with the TKO and dropped him to the ground and ground and pounded him out. It was just it was pretty cool, and it was good to see Suzuki get a win because, like you said, he's become a mainstay now. These Landmark shows, and he put on a banger on the second. But we'll get to that. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool knockout.
Okuda, I think it was in the build-up of him getting his ass handed to him by Tanner Larenko, right?
No, this was his first fight in Rizin. Then he had the Grand Bogdanov fights.
Oh, right. So it was basically the build-up for him getting his ass handed to him by Grant Bogdanov. I think when it comes down to Keisuke Okuda, maybe he needs to find another line of work. Well, actually, no. Maybe he needs to go back to professional wrestling around in MMA.
Wait, so are we in the Okuda should never come back to Rizin? I disagree. I want to see him back.
Not for these shows. Not if he's gonna get his ass handed to him every time he steps into competition.
Yeah, not on the shows.
Okay, well, we all know what happens to Suzuki. We'll be definitely talking about him later. Obviously, the best match of the night, I think we'll all agree, was next. Masakatsu Imanari snapping his losing streak, breaking the arm of Takeshi Kanten Kasugai. Absolutely disgusting, by the way. If you watch the video, you can hear his arm break. JayWolf, what do you think of this beautiful
finish? And it was the highlight of the night for me. Besides the main event, it was Dude, it was so. I remember watching that and hearing the arm snap. I was like, "Oh, damn!" You could hear it snap, and you get and it was such. It was Imanari is a veteran that is a beloved veteran. To see him get just a great win like that, brutal submission win, and I feel bad for Kasugi because he broke his arm, but still, it was just an awesome highlight, awesome finish, and yeah, like you said, it was so loud you could hear the arm break. It was just a great highlight. I mean, that was the finish of the night for me, basically.
Even though Imanari lost, I think his next fight after this, right? I think that Imanari might have welcomed himself back into rising competition, or might have welcomed himself back onto the numbered shows against not top international competition, but like rising prospects, pardon the pun. But yeah. I do think that with Imanari snapping arms like the good old days, I do think that we should not count this man out, because he obviously is still Ashikan Judan, the master of arm block.
Here's a mistake that Kasugai made. He went to the ground with a guy who was.
Can I finish, please? Basically, I was trying to say Imanari is Ashikan Judan, the master of arm blocks. I do think that a man that, even though he's in his mid-40s, he still has an opportunity to snap your damn arm. As for Kasugai, I hope he's doing well in recovery, and I hope we'll see him back again soon. I just hope he doesn't repeat the same mistake that he did in the Imanari fight.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna finish. Hold on. So Kasugai retired after this fight. He announced retirement, so unfortunately he will no longer be fighting. And this is what happens. I'm just gonna say, this is what happens when you go down to the ground with Imanari. This is what happens. It's not good. That's why Kenta Takizawa fought specific fights and never went to the ground with him, or tried to never go to the ground, I should say. But I hope. Come on, we all want to see Imanari back, right? We hope that Imanari gets another chance in Rising.
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Great, and the opening fight, Shota Watanabe defeated Koki Naito by Darce. Actually, originally it's supposed to be Kuya Ito, who fought at Landmark 2. We'll talk about that in a second. Who got replaced by Koki Naito. Watanabe then called out Shinobu Ota, the the Olympic silver medalist who now fights in Rizin. So, JayWolf, what do you think about this? And do you think we'll ever get Watanabe Ota sometime down the line?
Yes. I like this fight. I like Watanabe, and it was a great submission finish. Darce choke, look cool, and I think if I remember correctly, Watanabe was coming off a loss, so it's good to see him get back in the win column. And I like that call out of Ota's Olympic silver medals, like you were saying, be two grappling heavy guys clashing. So that's a good matchup right there. I like it.
Jay Chris, do you think we'll get that Ota Shuto fight? And do you think it goes the same way as Tokoro Ota did?
I think we might get that, but I just don't think it'll be the same way of the Tokoro Ota fight. I think it'll probably be a grapple. No, wait, it won't be a grapple heavy fest. It'll be, just a damn good. Basically, it's going to be Suplex City, what I'm trying to say. You're going to probably see two submission artists looking to suplex the shit out of each other, hoping not to give up a limb for this fight. If it does happen, of course.
Forgot to mention as well, he did ask for his girlfriend, Hikaru Olono, to be on the Rising card as well. I know that CJ is a big fan of the Watanabe and Olono couple. So maybe we'll. I've always said that Rising should do like a familial show together. Get all the brothers, mothers, daughters, sisters, sons, all one card.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is have Hikaru Olono take on Miyu Yamamoto and have Shuto Watanabe take on Earth and Batman Yamamoto.
Oh, that'd be fucking awesome. Imagine, wouldn't that be awesome? JayWolf, come on, back me up on this, man. Back me up on this.
Foreman. That would be awesome.
Mother and son taking on girlfriend and boyfriend. Come on, that's fucking awesome. That's just You can't see that anywhere else. You would never see that in UFC. You never see that in Bellator. Only Rizin can provide shit like that.
Right.
But overall,
I mean, come to think of it, credit to Bellator for at least trying to get, Carrie Ann Taylor Melendez on a card and hoping to sign Gilbert Melendez. But I doubt it.
Actually, I just remembered. You just reminded me, Christian, when you said Bellator. I forgot that Aviv Ghazali and Hayam Ghazali were once on a card together. The Ghazali family MMA
But
fighter.
that was in Tel Aviv, right?
Was that Tel Aviv or was that New York? It was either Tel Aviv or New York, I think.
I think it was in Tel Aviv.
I think it might be right. It's either Tel Aviv or New York, one of the two. But I definitely know they've been on the card together. They both got submission wins in their respective fights. But overall, I think Landmark gets a thumbs up. We all agree?
Yep.
Thumbs up.
And you can all check it out on YouTube. And by the way, I think the Mikuru Piole fight is almost near 1 million views. Last time I checked. Yes.
Excellent.
I just want to.
Hey, that fight has a long way to go. A long way to go before it defeats Floyd versus Tension in the view count.
Just before we go into Landmark 2, can we just say how awesome, the trajectory of Hagiwara has been? This guy who fought, in the underground, was 1-2 when he came to Rizin, was this unknown Osaka fighter, and then he comes in and is now like maybe their third, fourth, fifth, maybe most popular fighter. How awesome is that? That like some guy from nowhere becomes something in a matter of like a few months.
Bro, he headlined the first Trigger event, and he absolutely cherried that card with one of the best knockouts of the night, a soccer kick knockout. Hagiwara is a star on the rise for sure. I 100% agree with that.
I think it's going to probably lead. I mean, I think what we're seeing now with Hagiwara and Asakura brothers is pretty much the rise of the outsider. Because you have to think that if it wasn't for Rings the Outsider, we wouldn't know who any of these underground fighters are.
I think that goes to show that especially during the pandemic, Rizin was willing to take some risk in some fighters that listen. If you see a fighter who's 1-2 or whatever 1-3, you would think they would never get a shot. But it just shows the unpredictability of the MMA world. That someone can go from that to now. I think he mentioned that he bought a Lexus or something on Instagram or something. Kiole did. Said he bought like a Lexus or a some other type of expensive car, maybe a Corvette or not a Corvette. I think it was a Lexus. I could be wrong though. But Hagiwara just posted a picture of like a really, really expensive car that he said, "Look what I bought" or something. So yeah, it just shows that things can change and not the MMA is not static. And it's really cool that someone just came from the bottom is now all the way at the top and is now a certified star for the third, fourth biggest promotion in the world.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's get into Landmark 2. And obviously the biggest thing we got to talk about, as the title of the video is called, we got to talk about Ren. Chihiro Suzuki defeated Ren Hiromoto by unanimous decision. JayWolf, I know you're
first.
So, JayWolf, I know you're a big Ren fan. I know you've been following him on his shit talking, on his unique social media excursions. What do you think of Ren in this fight versus his first fight?
I actually liked it. I thought I showed a great growth from him. I know he lost. I know people were pissed off because he couldn't get out of the clinch and stuff. But I mean, there was a lot of that first round. It was an absolute bang fest. I'm talking those round of the year category right there. And I mean, and then that forced Suzuki to have to turn to grappling because Ren was getting the better of his striking exchanges. That's why Suzuki was grappling him up and clinching with them because Ren, you could see him. He was trying to get the grappling, and he showed some good growth in his grappling with there was several times where he had to stand up. He got taken down, I think with a throw or a trip, and then he got back up. And that's a really hard thing to do. But he needs to get back in the gym and work on that wrestling even more, and then get, he's got to learn that clinch technique, how to get out of the clinch, how to turn your opponent, all that good stuff. And you can see he's doing it, he's growing. So I just thought it was great. It showed a real good growth from him, and it showed his toughness too. Because that first round, like I said, that first round was round of the year category. I mean, it was just a straight banger. And then then Ren started getting the better of Suzuki in the striking. So that's why Suzuki would be clinching up, and that's how Suzuki was able to get the decision, was with superior grappling. So it was just a great growth for Ren. I mean, he's an exciting fighter. Like I said, I mean, he's obviously a star over there. I mean, and the loss didn't even hurt his popularity either. I was reading a bunch of comments from the Japanese fans that were saying that they were impressed by his showing, his growth and all, and that they were still behind him even though he lost, because he, like we were talking about on the previous show, the Japanese fans, they don't, as long as you show up and fight and show the fighting spirit, they will get behind you even if you lose. So I mean, that's exactly what happened, and I just can't wait to see him fight again. Like I said, he's one of the best kickboxing crossovers of the new era, and I just look forward to seeing him fight again, even though he lost. I'm glad that he's not from what I was reading about his comments afterwards. He's still committed to MMA. He's not going to give up. He's just going to go back in the gym and try to get better. So that's just what I would like him to do. Just get back in that gym, get wrestling. Learn. Just keep focusing on wrestling, because obviously his striking is one point. So just get your grappling even more up, up stuff.
Exactly. And when it comes to Ren Hiromoto, when it comes to the amount of people that actually showed support for him, I think I posted about this on the Focus Fights tab, that, he was, basically when I asked in both English and via Apple Translate Japanese, what was your best fight of the night, performance of the night, this, that, and the third, everybody was pretty much saying, oh, we're happy to see Ren Hiromoto. Basically, that's what they were all saying. Even though Ren Hiromoto lost, and yeah, he needs to go back to Milwaukee and get some more training in him, people were just happy to see Ren. Even though he needs to improve a lot more on his overall aspect of fighting. Know that this is not kickboxing anymore. This is MMA.
Just want to also mention, we got our good friend June K in the chat. So say hello to June K, everybody.
June, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again. Glad to tune in to us.
Konnichiwa, June K.
Yeah, so here's the thing about it, Ren, is that, and I was talking with LJ, our former translator, and I told a few other people this. I think the problem with Ren is that, okay, he's so good at kickboxing. I don't think he even needs to train kickboxing anymore or stand up. He just needs to just focus on wrestling and grappling. And I even said that, I think for his next fights, he needs to do a kickboxing fight just to get a win. I know that's maybe what he doesn't want to do, but I think he still needs to get some sort of win just to say he got a win in Rizin. So I'm thinking that he needs to do a kickboxing fight, and then while he's just waiting for that fight, just training, grappling, wrestling, all that stuff. What do you think about that? That he should just do a kickboxing fight just to get a W in Rizin? JayWolf?
I love it. I mean, talking to me, I would love to see him do both at the same time. Do Rizin kickboxing and Rizin MMA. I mean, and be a total crossover fighter like that. I'm totally in support of that happening. So I would definitely be for that.
Actually, I also got to give credit to CJ. He also suggested a mixed fight potentially. That
Aoki, where 1 round be mixed martial arts, next round be kickboxing. Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay Chris? What do you think? What would you do with Ren? Would you do like a kickboxing fight of him next? Would you give him another MMA fight, mixed fight? What do you think would be the best thing he could do to get a win in Rizin?
While I do think that having him in a kickboxing fight would give him at least some type of a win in the Rizin ring, I think the next best step would be for him to get a fight against a foreign opponent, well, actually not a foreign opponent, but a local Japanese opponent, a domestic opponent that's at the same skill level as he is.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking exactly that. I'm trying to think, but the problem is that you already have 2 fights with Ren. If any fighter who watches those fights is gonna be like, okay, this guy's grappling is dog shit. This guy's wrestling defense is dog shit. I'm gonna just win the match that way. So you need to find somebody who literally, and I know that there was some suggestion maybe he should go to Deep or one of the regional promotions. The problem is I think he's too big.
That's right.
To go to Deep.
Oh yeah, of course he's too big to fight in those smaller promotions compared to Rizin because he's a former K1 star.
But the other problem is that if you lose that fight, I think that's worse than losing 2 fights in Rizin. If he loses to some guy who's like 0-6 or 0-7, you know what I'm saying? So I think that actually hurts him more, his stock more. It would be great for Deep if they got him, but I totally get why they want to do it. This is what June K says. He says, like most of the fighters we are mentioning, it felt like the fantasy of Ren has gone away. Even kind of felt bad for him after hearing Chihiro broke both his fists in the first round, but still can't do anything. So and also the other thing as well. I don't know if any of you saw the post-fight pictures. There was a photographer they had, a freelance photographer. I forgot her name, but she took pictures of the fighters' faces after their fights, right after their fights. And Ren's face was all fucked up, like bruises. I think I retweeted it. Do you guys remember seeing those photos?
I think the person you're mentioning is Saka. I think the person you're mentioning is Hachiko, right?
Yes. And I was, listen, Jay, I know that Ren did okay striking, but he did get. I rewatched the fight. He did get outstruck significantly by Chihiro, in terms of what I would consider significant strikes. There, Ren had his moments, especially near the end of the fight and then the first round, but for the most part, Chihiro did outstrike him, at least in terms of damage. So
even the first round, she got the better of him, but the next 2 rounds, Ren was clearly getting the better of the striking exchanges, and that would make Suzuki have to engage in the grappling. That's the whole reason why Suzuki was grappling. I guess he was saying that he had broken hands or whatever, but he was grappling because when they were start striking, Ren was getting the better of the striking exchanges, and that was causing.
I definitely think that Chihiro had more volume in striking, but I think that Ren definitely seemed to have more power. And I think when Ren connected, I think there was one point where Ren got a nice strike, a nice punch in on Chihiro, and it rocked Chihiro. He's like, okay, I can't strike with this guy who's a K1 stud, so I'm going to grapple with him. So yeah, I think it was a little bit both.
Yeah. And you know what? It's going to be a good lesson for Ren. That's like a grappling lesson right there. That's going to make Ren. He's going to go, okay, I have got to work on this and work on my clinch. He's going to take away from that fight exactly what he needs. He's going to go back in the gym. He's going to see exactly what he's got to work on. I mean, we're all saying it now. I'm sure his coaches are telling him, and he knows it himself after that fight. You could see it in his face. He knows he's got to get his grappling better, and he will. You'll see. I mean,
here's the other thing as well that's got to be mentioned. So, Ren is now training in Japan full time. He's now at the Cave, which is Shintaro Ishiwatari, Akira Okada, Kotetsu Hara. It's a very a very established camp. But if he had Rufus Sports in his corner, let's just say he had Ben Askren, Duke Rufus, and I don't know who else at somebody else from Rufus Sports, could this fight have gone differently, do you think, JayWolf?
Possibly. Maybe they would have been yelling instructions on how to turn him from that clinch position, like get the underhooks or do a whizzer or something. I don't know what they would have been saying in his corner, but it possibly could have changed the outcome a little bit, because then, like, if it was Ben Askren in his corner, you would have been telling him the wrestling techniques he needed to counter what Suzuki was doing to him. So maybe it could have. I don't know, but I just think that as long as he just takes away from this fight what he needs to and gets back in that gym and works wrestling, he's gonna be just fine. So
June K says that lots of fighters are taking Ren's side here. and blaming his coaches and training partners for giving him too much compliments. So it almost sounds like that Ren is almost being he's getting too, they're not training him hard enough, maybe? Is that possible? That maybe that they aren't doing that? JayWolf? JayFresh?
He's calling him. I mean, the camp is calling him. That's not, dude. Well, you know what? It don't matter because that fight.
Well, I'm pretty sure the camp is calling him, like that poor time rendition in the background of Andrew. Somebody singing "It's All Coming Back to Me Now" by Celine Dion is calling him to wish that he was at home muting the TV. I mean, I'm just saying. It looks like you have a nice ass party over there, Andrew.
I know. But I think I know what June K is saying. That maybe that the camp is not being hard on him enough. That they gotta treat him as if they gotta stop using kid gloves on him. You know, and that's what I heard a lot of people say. That's what CM Punk had to deal with when he was at Rupert Sports, is that he was just, he's a star coming in, so we're not going to be as tough or as diligent on him as other people in our training camp. So that's possibly, Cave's gotta kind of step it up and be like, listen, we gotta stop treating him good. We gotta stop treating him with kid gloves. We gotta be more hard on him. We gotta drill it to him. Listen, Ren, you need to know this shit. You need to know that shit. So if that's what they gotta do, that's what they gotta do. I guess the other big question I have is Chihiro Suzuki. What do you think about him next, JayWolf?
The reason he was grappling so much is because he had broken hands or whatever. Then that explains it. I mean, I was thinking that he was just grappling because that was the way to beat Ren, because he was losing the striking exchanges. But that first round was so action packed. I mean, that's how Ren's face got busted up. But Suzuki, I think, dropped him twice in that round. I think it was back and forth. I think Ren dropped him and then Suzuki dropped him. But it was just such a great action packed fight. I mean, I'm excited to see Suzuki back as well. I mean, wasn't Suzuki also a kickboxing crossover? Just not as well known.
He started in MMA, then he went into kickboxing, and now he's back into MMA.
Okay.
But his kickboxing credentials are not as extensive as Ren, obviously.
But no, it was a good showing from him, and like I said, that first round was a round of the year level round. And I would like him back, absolutely, on a numbered show, on another landmark, whatever you guys want to do. Just bring him back, because that was a good action-packed fight for sure. And also, that Ren's gym was not being hard enough on him. Well, I think that'll change after this fight as well. And I think it'll change because of Ren himself. Because from what I was reading of Ren's comments and stuff, like, he was upset that he lost, and he's gonna go back in that gym and go, okay, I got to work on this wrestling. Because that's the only reason why he lost. So I'm sure that's what will happen. So we'll see this.
We have a funny comment from June K. He said, so apparently Mikaru said that if Ren trains with him, he could make Ren into a better MMA fighter.
Nice. Yeah. Did you see the picture that Mikura posted? It was Ren was like on a bike, and Mikura was in like a beamer chasing him down in the back. It's so funny. Did you see that one? Dude,
I think I saw that one, but June K makes a good point that Mikaru's always thinking business, no matter what.
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, have him train together. That'd be awesome. I mean, Mikura he's one of the top fighters in Japan right now. So, I mean, that'd be a great training partner for Ren.
Well, here's another fight we can talk about. Another 145 fight. Hiroaki Suzuki. Hey, remember him? We just talked about him. Knocked out Shoji, the samurai, coming out to an awesome entrance. By the way,
this fight kind of got to me because I thought that Shoji was gonna win via knockout. Instead, it was legitimately the other way around.
I picked Suzuki, so I'm gonna take the fucking big W on this. Okay, all you all will be like, oh, Shoji with his veteran shit and all that stuff. I picked her. I picked Suzuki. So,
oh yeah, go ahead and gloat, Andrew. Go ahead and gloat. But the
listen, I
point
won't
of the
gloat.
matter is, when it comes down to that win for Hiroaki Suzuki, do you think that his future is best kept in mixed martial arts or in kickboxing?
JayWolf.
Oh, you know me. I want him in Epic Rising, mixed martial arts, and the superior rule set. He did a fantastic job. You saw he was throwing them grounded knees and everything. That was one of the best fights of the night. I think that was the one with grounded knees in that one, right? Jay Krish?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yes. So I mean, he did a fantastic job in that. So I would definitely like them to stay in the Epic Rising superior rule mixed martial arts. But like I said, same with Ren. If they want to do both at the same time, do kickboxing fight and then come back into mixed martial arts, I'm totally for that as well. So
My question for the panel is though. So listen, with Chihiro Suzuki winning and now Hiroaki Suzuki winning, we gotta do Suzuki versus Suzuki, right? Am I right?
yes.
Yeah, a no relation Suzuki versus Suzuki fight, but that I don't think would make any sense.
Oh, but they're both 145. They're both former kickboxers. I think it's a great fight to make. I think it's kind of like a little dream fight in a weird way.
Here, I got an idea. Throw them in the GP and let's have some fun.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But what about Shoji? Shoji. Listen, I'll say this about Shoji. He either wins on his sword or dies on his sword, and you can't fault him for that. This guy never puts in a boring fight ever. So, JayWolf, what do you think about Shoji? What about his future?
Well, put him on a trigger card. That's what Sakakibara-san said the trigger cards are for. It's for vets to get vets and prospects to be matched up to get wins to come back to the bigger numbered shows, basically, right? So put him on a trigger show, match him up with some upcoming prospect, I guess. And
well, Jay Krish, what do you think about Ren versus Soji? Could that be a fight to make?
I think that Ren versus Shoji would be a great fight to make because you're packing up losers versus losers. However, you're still going to have to deal with the fact that Shoji Maruyama has a big experience advantage, and not to mention one of the fastest knockouts in mixed martial arts history.
Here's the good thing about Soji is that he's not a submission guy. He's not a grappler guy. So there's at least that. So I think at least you wouldn't have to worry about it as much, presumably. Plus, he said he's going to stay at 145 as of now. No more 135 for Shoji. So,
oh yeah, of course. But hey, for Shoji, I think it would be best for him to take some time off. Think about his next move, and if he wants to come back to Rizin, I think that'll fight versus Ren Hiramoto or fight versus anybody, probably even Imanari, would make sense.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be fucking awesome.
Okay, so you go ahead and move on to the next fight, or do we have some things we want
we have a comment from June K. He says, "Don't know the truth, but my opinion was that Shoji was striking to Suzuki on purpose." So it sounded. Oh yeah. So if you remember, Shoji had said that he was just going to grapple this fight. In the pre-fight comments, he said he was just going to grapple. He wasn't going to strike, and that turned out to be a lie, of course. So just interesting comments from Shoji. With the next fight, well, if you want to call it a fight, our next kickboxing star, Yoshinari Nadaka, defeated Yusei Shirahata.
I'm going to tell you right now, and I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to tell you right now, Yoshinari Nadaka is the future of Rizin. Plain and simple.
Of Rizin kickboxing.
Well, not just Rizin kick, but Rizin in general.
Well, I definitely agree he's the future of the Rizin kickboxing because that was a fantastic performance. I mean, we all saw that from the preview show. We're all picking and we're all building him up, hyping him up, saying, "Oh, you guys got to watch this kid. He's going to come out there with the Fury, going to get a nice big knockout, and he delivered the goods. It was a lone Jay kick fight of the night, and he certainly delivered the goods exactly as advertised. So I'm excited to see him fight again for sure.
Oh thank God. We all are.
Thank God it was a lone Jay. Listen, you saw the next Rizin show. There's 8 kickboxing fights with like. Listen, I don't mind these kickboxing fights, but now it's like almost like they're trolling us at this point. It's like, how many more kickboxing fights can we add on a show? Oh, let's add more. Let's add more. Listen,
do you understand? That's their formula that they want to duplicate from. I think it was 2002 or 2001. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was the early 2000s. Almighty Pride FC and K1 were having these super shows. That's what they're trying to recreate. So I mean, that's why they're doing that kickboxing on there too. I would like them to have, if they're going to have that much kickboxing on a Rizin card, make it a 8-man one night tournament or something. You know?
Oh Lord, here we go.
You know,
deal though. You're probably referring to Dynamite back in 2002, and they want to do everything they can to basically milk the hell out of this Takeru Sagawa versus Tenshin Nasukawa fight that's going to possibly happen over the summer at the Tokyo Dome.
Well, here's the other thing as well. Can we also give Nadaka credit that he got ice for the corpse of the opponent he just killed? Did you see that? Like, as soon as his opponent went down, like face down, he went to the Iceman and was like, got ice for his opponent. Yeah, he tried to put ice on his own opponents. It was both wholesome and funny at the same time.
Wow, I mean, to be honest, I think Nadaka is trying to be like the Japanese version of Johnny Dang in Houston, Texas. I think he's trying to give ice for everybody's wounds, so to speak.
I think it's fair to say though that like nobody can compete at Nadaka's level at this point that we know of. At this 112 pound, 115 pound division, there's nobody else really. He's the king of this division, and we said it during the preview that he's all the way up here, and then everybody else is just so below him that they're not even like number 2 or number 3.
Understood.
I mean, like, I know we can't think of really any opponents, but like, what do you do if Nadaka in this case? Do you just keep feeding him people until,
Not only that, but you showcase him.
Oh yeah, I guess I think the next big step for him though would have to be going to Rise. I think Rise could potentially find some opponents for him at that division more than Rizin can. Rizin's just gonna find random Heat, Hoos Cup, or Muay Thai or Thai fighters that nobody gives a shit about. So I think Rise would be able to find some maybe competitive people for him. Anybody agree with that? Does anybody agree with that or disagree with that?
I totally agree with that. Go ahead, Jake.
I mean, come to think of it, I see. But if you have him in Rise, do you tell him to boost up 10 pounds or do you have him fight at 115?
How old is he right now? How old is he right now?
He's barely 20. I think he's like 21, maybe 22.
This is what you do. You have him dominate 115 for most of his youth. And then when he starts getting older and that weight cut's going to start getting harder and harder, that's when you have him bump up 10 pounds when the weight cut starts getting harder as he gets older. So have him dominate 115 while he can. And then once the weight cut starts getting harder as he's getting older, then bump him up 10 pounds the next weight class. And I love your idea about having him fight in Rise as well. I mean, that's to do with Bay Noah. Bay Noah is the champion of Rise, and he's fighting in Rise at the same time. I love it. I think that Rise just can find better opponents because we're just gonna, I don't think that Rise is gonna do their due diligence to find like competitive people for him. And listen, I don't kind of expect them. They didn't really find the best opponents for Ascension. Why should they find them for Nadaka, who's at an even like weight class that's like impossible to find people? Sorry, JayWolf, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I disagree. I think that Rizin's good at finding talent, but see, right, they've been having to deal with this COVID crap and not being able to bring in international fighters. But now that that's over with, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure that, look. You've seen what they did with the light heavyweight Grand Prix. and they found more talent in the light heavyweight division than any other promotion had found for a decade. All of a sudden, Sakakibara-san finds two of the best of the actual best of the new era of light heavyweights. Sakakibara-san found, but that are outside the UFC, Vadim Nemkov and Jiri Prochazka. They are clearly the two best light heavyweights on the planet right now, and they were from Epic Rising. That was founded by Sakakibara. That's where they were found, and there's no reason why they can't do the same thing with opponents for Nadaka or any other weight class now that the COVID restrictions are done. So, but let's just see what the future holds.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I definitely think. Well, actually, so June K in the comments says that Nadaka should be on the Taku retention card.
Yes,
in June. That'd be great. That'd be the biggest way that he could get exposure probably at this point.
Throw all the big stars on that Takeru Tenshin super fight card. Absolutely. That's going to be the new dynamite of this. That's what they want. This is I think since it was 2000.
This year will mark the 20th anniversary of that dynamite card. Why not?
But let's hope it happens, gentlemen. Let's hope it happens. Don't jinx it. Please don't jinx us.
That's what they're going for. 100%.
So let's go on. Unfortunately, let's go on to the next two fights, which I think the show started off very slow and then picked up pace for the most part. And the first fight that kind of was disappointing was Kuya Ito defeating our boy Full Swing, who gave us a shout out on Twitter. JayWolf, thank you for forwarding me that, and Jay Chris, you also saw it as well, so that was pretty cool.
I think I have, but send it to me in the DMs.
Okay. No, you responded to him. You responded to Full Swing.
Oh, right. Of course. But it was after his fight.
Yeah.
He lost.
I know we all picked him to give a devastating knockout, but that's what happens when you fight a guy who's a knockout guy. If you just wrestle him, that's what happened. Actually, in fairness, Kuya Ito did have some good striking exchanges with Full Swing, so that did happen.
Yes, absolutely. I want to say that's why I picked Ito. I mean, not picked Ito, but after the fight, on my scorecards, I had Ito winning, is because he had the best strike of the night. He had one of the prettiest stomps. It was just missing a KO, but it landed so flush. It was great form. It was in I think it was in the first or second round. It was one of the exchanges, and it was just a picture perfect stomp to the face, and it was by Ito. And I think that's what won the fight, because it was the most spectacular strike of the fight.
But it kind of sucked because I kind of thought this would be the resurgence of Full Swing. He kind of went that long losing streak of MMA, grappling, kickboxing, and I thought, like, okay, he got the epic soccer kick win at the first Trigger show. We're gonna see that upswing. We're gonna see the upswing of Full Swing. So, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, I mean, Jay Krish, what do you think? What do you think should happen next with Full Swing?
To be honest, I think you put him on the trigger card. Even though he is too well known of a veteran to be competing on these trigger cards, I do think you have to put him somewhere in order for him to, regain that confidence that he once had.
So who would you match? Do you have anybody who you'd match him up against with? JayWolf or Jay Krish, do you have any thoughts on potential future opponents?
No, No, Jay Krish, go ahead.
Come to think of it, I wouldn't mind if Gustavo defeats Yachi, even though he's going to be fighting as a lightweight on this card. I mean, on this upcoming card in April. I wouldn't mind seeing Full Swing versus Gustavo.
Well, that'd be bad. Listen, there are two weight classes separate, Chris, unfortunately.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great fight in theory, but, well, I was thinking, if you really wanted to do something with, I think Full Swing is the type of guy, you got to face him up against people that are stylistically in his favor, I guess. Or I guess, that kind of don't. I think a fun fight, and I'm going to break my rule of winners versus winners, losers versus losers. I think a fun fight would be him versus Imanari. I think that'd be a fun fight.
Are you sure?
I think so. I think it'd be a crazy, weird fight.
Oh,
JayWolf?
I don't know because I like both fighters. I don't like those matchups where one of them's got to lose, you know. But I don't know. I mean, it could be cool, but I don't know. Are you going to sacrifice Ito's leg or arm in that one, or are you going to
Oh
sacrifice?
no, full swing, full swing, full swing. I'm talking about.
Yeah, you saying match up full swing with Imanari. Oh,
Yeah.
Did I say Ito? Oh, my bad. I meant full swing. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you got to watch it. You want to get his arm or leg snapped, or you want to get Imanari soccer kicked again.
Well, that's the thing. It's that I think either one happens, and so you're guaranteed a crazy finish either way. I mean, I guess another interesting fight, I think would be Full Swing versus Kenta Takizawa. I think that'd be a very interesting fight stylistically. I think though, yeah, I think Full Swing's the type of guy that you match up, that's you gotta be matched up with somebody who's stylistically, not 100%. That's either gonna stand up and get knocked out, or who has very weak stand up. Anybody else can kind of just grapple him and just win that way.
Yeah, no, that's a good matchup. And have they decided what weight class the Grand Prix is going to be at this year? Is it featherweight or?
I think they're gonna do featherweights.
They're going to do featherweight.
I think so. That's my big prediction. I did. It's almost like an open secret at this point. If they don't do featherweight, I'm gonna be like, really? And like if they do like welterweight, I'm gonna be like, are you fucking serious?
Are you? I mean, all that. If they were to do a Grand Prix at welterweight, you know damn well all 16 or all 8 of those slots would have to be filled by foreign talent.
I know, and I was just thinking like it's a Grand Prix, but it's only 2 fighters, and they just fight for the next few months until New Year's Eve. I'm just thinking like it's like Daichi Abe and I don't know whoever else is at welterweight. How about Kui Ito though? Oh, sorry, JayWolf.
I was gonna say full swing's bantamweight, correct?
Oh yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I guess this is a featherweight Grand Prix, and I guess he can't be part of that. But if it's not going to be featherweight and they do a bantamweight Grand Prix, throw him in a Grand Prix.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're going to just do one Grand Prix, I think, this year, the featherweight one. So I don't think they're going to do 2 Grand Prix. I think
they're not going to have a women's ones either. I thought they were going to have a women's one and a men's Grand Prix.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, they'll do one women's and one men's. They're not going to do 2 men's, 1 woman. I don't think.
Yeah. You know what? Trying to think of it, even though Full Swing fights at bantamweight, I wouldn't mind seeing him go up to featherweight to potentially face off against somebody who's been wanting to get into Rizin for a while, Andrew Tennyson of the LFA.
Is he featherweight or is he lightweight? I thought he was lightweight.
Featherweight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I know. Hopefully, we can still talk to Andrew Tennyson. Actually, Andrew Tennyson, his dream fight's to fight against Mikaru. So I don't know if they offered him Full Swing. Well, here's the thing: they could probably offer him Full Swing as like a first fight. He wins or whatever, and then then goes on to Mikaru. Well, Jun K says that he's disappointed for sure. Full Swing maybe was caring too much about Ito's counter attacks. Definitely was, and obviously he didn't want to go to the ground against Ito. Obviously that didn't go his way. What do we think about Kui Ito? Do you expect to see him in Rizin again, JayWolf?
Absolutely. Did you see that stomp that he threw? It was picture perfect.
Come on, it's one stomp. It's one stomp, JayWolf. One stomp don't mean shit.
Oh, come on. It was picture perfect. It landed straight to the face, just was missing the knockout. There was also some grounded knees in that, and I think he ended the final flurry had a soccer kick to it too. So he showed great awareness of the superior rule set. As a matter of fact, I think I remember Jay Krish. I remember seeing one of your tweets saying that, hey, this proves the theory about how whenever the superior rule set is involved, violence ensues, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, heck yeah, Ito knows how to fight with a superior rule set, so definitely bring him back. Absolutely.
I think Ito's the type of fighter who, when he gets matched up against studs, I think he gets his ass kicked. If you look at his record, I think it's like, is it 10-9 now or 11-9 now? It's not the best record. So
it's nearing 5. It's basically nearing 500.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's the thing: this guy, he's good for trigger shows. He's good for landmark shows. I don't think he should make it to the numbered cards yet. So whenever he's I guess they need just a random bantamweight fight. That's when you call Kuito. Hey, Kuito, want to face Kenta Takizawa? Here, it's like 6 from the card or whatever. That's the type of that's just the type of fighter that he is, unless something drastically changes. That's not an insult.
Idea of putting him on another trigger event or another landmark event, and if he gets another win, then call him up to a numbered event. That's fine. That's what those trigger and landmark events are for.
Now we gotta talk about the next fight, because despite what you two fools were saying, I had hope for the veteran. And that was Koro defeating the Golden Boy, Takuma Masuda, by split decision.
My God. Kosuke Terashima beating Matsuda. I really thought that Kosuke was going to beat that ass, but then again, Koro had other ideas.
Drew, are you worried about a split decision W?
I'm gonna brag about this, okay? Well, listen, it was close, but listen, one of the things that we did talk about was like this is definitely a test fight for Masuda. Whether he's the next. They even got the nickname Golden Boy. That's clear. Like it's like when BJ Penn was nicknamed the Prodigy. So clearly that the Japanese MMA world has high hopes on him. But clearly, listen, he lost his fight, split decision, it was close. What did everybody think about this fight, JayWolf?
I liked it. It was good fight. I mean, people were being a little bit too harsh on it, I thought, but if I remember correctly, it had some Pride Rules moments in it, Superior Rule Set moments in it, so it had some good action. And I mean, it was a close fight, split decision, so you can't really bag on Masuda too much. I mean, because he won on one of the judges' scorecards, so it's like, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel being too harsh.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, yeah, I want to see him back again. Like I said, put on one of those trigger events or a landmark event, because that's what the theme of those is for vets and prospects to get a win to move up to numbered events. So, I mean, if they have high hopes for him and saying he's the new Golden Boy or whatever, then put him on a trigger or landmark event and let him prove it and earn his way up to the numbered events.
Hey, Jay Chris, I was gonna your thoughts. I definitely think that Masuda was definitely the favorite in this fight, and Koro just managed to use veteran grappling skills to
he had a throw and a badass suplex on him. That's right. You're right.
But also, you remember he had the guillotine choke. He also, the third round was really all him. And actually, remember the third round, he nearly. I don't want to say he knocked. He did have Masuda rocking from strikes, and Koro's not a striker at all. I've watched a few of his fights. This guy's anything but a striker. So hey, if you want to put up against Full Swing, he gets knocked out by Full Swing, I think 10 out of 10 times. So hey, make that fight. But I think that Koro, definitely showed that as a veteran fighter, as a definitive gatekeeper, he's still got something. Jay Krish, your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, of course, as a gatekeeper, Koro got something, but I still think that for Masuda as a prospect, he shouldn't really get himself down over this loss. So I think he's gonna go right back to the drawing board, take this loss in stride and potentially be back on a rising card. As for Koro, I think if this isn't a one and done, I think he's gonna probably get one more opportunity on a rising trigger show before deciding if he's gonna be a right fit for these numbered cards.
Well, I'll definitely tell you what's gonna happen with Koro next. So whenever a fighter who's from deep gets like a win in Rizin, they get like a fight a month or two after their Rizin show. So I think Koro's gonna be first on a deep show, maybe main eventing or co-main eventing. And then we can definitely get him back for Rizin Trigger 4, 5, Landmark 3 or 4, whenever they decide to do that. But I guess for Masuda, do you put him up against another gatekeeper? Do you put him up against a guy who's under 500? Do you put him up against another prospect? Kind of prospect versus prospect. What do you do with Masuda? That I think that Rizin was really banking on him to get a win. I think they really want to find their Tyra, their own Tyra from that's now in the UFC. So, what do you think about Masuda's next? Whose next potential fight should be at?
Oh,
I think the next potential fight should be a bantamweight.
Oh no, I mean, like, would you put it against a gatekeeper or or another prospect, somebody with an under 500 record? What do you do with that if you're Shingo and you're thinking, what do I do with Masuda next?
Jay Chris, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go. I think that he needs to be put up against a prospect who is just, I mean, not just starting out, but it's kind of like what you said, Andrew. Have him go up against a prospect that's 0-2, that's beatable, and, you know, get somebody who can actually give Matsuda a decent W on that record.
Mm-hmm. JayWolf?
Yeah, no, I like that too. Match him with another prospect. I also like, if you want to give him a win or a better chance of getting a win, match him with a 500 guy, a 500 vet or gatekeeper or whatever. And but I still think he should go to a trigger card, because that goes with the theme of what Sakaki Barasan was saying that he wants for those cards. Prospects and veterans getting having performances that get back up to the bigger events. So I mean, match him up with either a up and coming prospect or 0-2 prospect like Jay Chris was saying, or match him up with the 500 veteran, or if you want him to like have a better chance of getting a win, or just do another match like this if you want. I mean, you really can't go wrong. I don't think. Like Jay Chris was saying, he's going to go back to the drawing board, because this was a close. Like I was saying, he won on one of the judges' scorecards. It was a split decision, so it wasn't like it was like a blowout loss for him. So Jay Chris is absolutely right. He's going to go back to the drawing board and he's going to come back even better next time.
June K has a comment. He thought that Masuda might be interesting on his physicality a bit, but besides that, nah. So I mean, listen. I joke, I meme. Listen, you know, Cora won. Ha ha ha. Great keeper. You know, I'm being facetious, but you know, I think that Masuda definitely is a fighter to be looking at. He, you know, before this, you know, he's undefeated. I mean, not undefeated. He had one loss, but he had been on a long winning streak, and I definitely think that there is some room for him to improve. Listen, he just fought a guy who just outgrappled him like a little bit better, and that's why he lost.
I was just to say, because that, I'm telling you, it was the throw happened first. It was a really nice judo throw first, and then there was a picture perfect suplex that dumped him right on his head. And I think that's what took him out of his game, was that when he got taken to Suplex City. That's when it was like, okay, this now I'm in a fight now. So, I mean, we'll see when he goes back to the drawing board, like Jay Chris was saying. But I mean, I just don't. I'm not ready to write him off just yet.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, listen, I 1000% expect him to be on another show sometime down the line. I don't think. Listen, we'll probably see him in Deep or maybe Pancreas or maybe some other promotion, you know, shortly, perhaps, you know, first, and then he'll maybe get a win then, and then maybe he'll come back to Rise, and that's what I think will happen with him. And then Koro, listen, I still think this is the year of the old person fighter. You know, we got Glover Teixeira being light heavyweight champion. We got Ogi Kuba winning the Bantamweight Grand Prix. We got Daisuke Nakamura, who will soon be the featherweight champion of Rizin. I don't care what anybody says. This is gonna be the year of the old guard MMA fighter. I 100% guarantee that. And by the way, as well, just a little before, since we're finished with talking about the Landmark show, if you have time, go see the Deep show that just happened, the Michihiro Omigawa retirement show, and get to see Nakamura get another win by armbar. And this is against a judo guy like Omigawa. Fucking amazing. Listen, this is Nakamura's year. I guarantee that.
Are you sure about that?
I am 100% betting it. Listen, when that Grand Prix gets announced and it's and when they announce Daisuke Nakamura as being in it, I'm gonna pick him as my winner. I'm not even gonna pick him to advance. I'm just gonna pick him. Listen, Nakamura is gonna armbar or knock out everybody because he's now a knockout artist and an armbar master. I just guarantee it. Watch it. Mikaru versus Nakamura in the first round ends by armbar. I guarantee it. Nakamura versus Poirier ends by armbar. I am so sure. I'm so excited for the Grand Prix if and when it happens. I'm so excited for it.
Wow.
When it's announced, huh?
But I want to get your overall thoughts on Landmark 2, gentlemen. Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
First, go ahead, Jay Krish. Go ahead.
Thumbs up. Even though the fight was overwhelmed by decisions over finishes, I still think that it was one of the better Rising cards of the year, despite the fact that it lasted 5 fights.
Yeah, JayWolf, your thoughts on this 5-fight card?
Oh, I loved it. You know me. I mean, dude, like I was telling you guys, I watched the UFC and I went to bed, took a nap, and to wake up to watch it live. I wasn't planning on that at first. I was gonna, just watch it on a replay the next day, but I couldn't resist watching live because I love it so much. But it was an action-packed event, and I just loved how, even the fights that did not have finishes, there still was a bunch of pride rules. You guys saw that, right? There's a lot of superior set action going on. I mean, it shows you the growth of the Epic Rising fighters and superior rule set. Guys are getting more and more acclimated to the superior rule set, and we're seeing a lot more action nowadays. And this is just a 5-fight card, and you saw on the decisions, Jay Krish's tweet showed that the theory is proven, but the superior rule set just brings the violence to action. So I mean, it was awesome. I'm so excited for the future.
I thought this was a good show. I think I prefer Rizin Landmark 1 a little bit more. But I'll just say this. I want to see Rizin promote their fights a lot better. There was only 8 comments in the live thread discussion on r/MMA. And when they did a Q&A for the show beforehand, there was only 25 comments. I think that Rizin can do a lot better, or can do better promoting their shows, especially
because it was a brutal start time for this one, is what I think. And also, there was a problem with the DMCA strikes.
Damn. Don't even get us started, because Grabaka Hitman was complaining about this. I think Mike Skype complained about this months before.
Yes, and Teeps the Junk as well, a show that myself and Andrew were on of Teeps that's previewing. We were reviewing a Bellator event and previewing the Epic Rising event. And it got DMCA strike because he used a graphic that they put out just like the regular fight poster, and that just can't happen. That's got to be fixed. For Grabaka Hitman, who is like the MMA Atlas, holds the MMA world up on his shoulders. Basically, people wouldn't even know about half this MMA. Probably not even Epic Rising without him. So they just got to do something about that, and they got to remedy that situation.
Well, that they use some company in Germany. I forgot what the fucking company's called. And it's all automatic.
Yeah, it's a separate company. It's not Epic Rising themselves. It's a separate company in Germany. You're absolutely right. But still, the Rising people have got to get on them and say, hey, you guys got to remove these strikes. You cannot be striking these guys for using it's got to be just for videos. You can't be striking people for using graphics.
No, like people who upload the full videos on YouTube and all that stuff. That go after those people. Tell them, or whatever, crack shoes. I have no idea what people fucking use now. But
strikes were for just the straight fight poster and the full card graphic,
which leads me to believe that probably this company that Horizon hired probably has a bot set up that kind of just scans hyperlinks, coding, and all that stuff. That anything that has Ryzen in it, it goes after. Here's the thing, though: we have not been copyright stricken in our videos, in our tweets. The one time it's ever happened was when I recorded Jay Kuhn's entrance for his last Ryzen fight, and I got DMCA'd by Dream Factory or whatever the parent company of Ryzen is. I don't know if that was
Dream Factory Worldwide LLC.
Yeah, that's the one time it happened, and it wasn't a warning or like a strike, whatever. It was just basically said, hey, we're gonna remove this, just don't do it again for whatever reason. Okay, so I can't say that we've been punished on YouTube for it. So I hope that continues. That would suck if it didn't. If it didn't, but listen, this stuff with Grabaka, Hitman, Kapoza, I think Teep, and I think some others as well. Armanis Yunus as well, who's also followed us for a long time as well. Got a copy. He posted the Ryzen post as well. He always does it before, like a YouTube before. He got copyright. He's just a fan. He's not a YouTuber or podcast, whatever. He's just a fan. And listen. New Japan does this. Jay Krish, as you probably know, they've become very stringent on their thing, and they've lost
they are very strict when it comes down to copyrights. I think K1.
even K1, I can find K1 fights very easily on YouTube and all that stuff. I don't know about Twitter, I don't know what social media, but listen, New Japan lost a good amount of their American audience because listen, if people are striking conversations and what gifts about it, that strikes conversation and discourse. So same thing with Rizin.
Yeah,
so
people saying he doesn't even want to do shows with us anymore about Epic Rizin because he's worried about his boxing content and Bellator content. And
I don't blame it. Yeah, I don't blame it. And here's the thing: even UFC is not even this draconian. Bellator is not this draconian. And WWE. I understand that Rizin obviously wants to protect their copyright and protect, videos, which are very much, that's how they make money on YouTube, and through other ways. But like, you gotta be careful. You gotta tell this company go after specific types of people, not all these people and whatever, because it's just gonna bite in the ass. And listen, I'm gonna tell you this: foreign fighters or not, it won't matter because Western fans will be turned off if they can't even talk about it.
That's right. And post a picture. You got to allow them to post the pictures. Striking the videos and GIFs, that's fine. I think everybody gets that and understands that. But what happened this time was it was just straight pictures, just graphics, and it was the promotional graphic that they put out themselves, the fight poster and the fight lineup card.
But also the other things that they got that they should realize is that I mean, like, it's very simple. Like, I almost like that's the reason why we also have a no streaming, no links and all that stuff on the Discord, on the Rizin FF Discord, because I respect their copyright. I respect their right as a business to make money, which is what they should do. They're making money, and so listen. If you can't, that's why I respect that, and that's why Jay Chris respects that. That's why you respect that, JayWolf. We pay for the shows.
Well, I respect it to a certain extent, so to speak.
You respect Rizin. Mm-hmm. Other promotions, some of them can go fuck themselves. But we know which ones can. But we respect Rizin, and we love what they're doing. As a MMA and kickboxing promotion at this point. So yeah, we just don't want to see them fuck it up for everybody else who want to enjoy it as much.
Because now I'm worried about like us for our posts. Like I'm not going to post any more of the fight posters or the fight card graphics. I'm just going to retweet
I also wonder. I'm sorry, I just want to quickly say I wonder if this because this is Landmark and maybe because this actually was on Unext. Actually, the show. I think it was. I think the show was on Unext as well. I think it was Landmark was on like 1,000 platforms, like Unext, Line, and like. Or was that the Trigger show? Trigger?
You're right. No, this Landmark was on Unext as well, I think, but it was the Trigger show that was not on Unext, and that's when everybody was freaking out, going, "Hey, why is Trigger not on Unext?" But the Landmark was. Maybe it's exclusive.
I wonder if because it's on Unext, it's why there was a little bit more because this never happened before. This happens now. Well, I guess we'll have to see for the next show. Rizin Trigger. Rizin 34, Rizin 35. We'll see if the copyright strikes are just as draconian. If they are, then clearly Rizin is.
Kaposta Grabaka Hitman, he was saying that this company, the German company that did the DMCA strike, they're like notorious for having like just egregious like beyond like what you're saying, just making copyright strikes that were just too like just out of control. So I think it might be that the secondary company that Rizin hired to do this.
Oh no, it is. No, it is them. It clearly is them. But nonetheless, they're still doing it in Rizin's name. It's kind of like when Ron Paul had that newsletter, and someone discovered that they like hired like I don't know some like white supremacist or something to be like a writer for them. And Ron Paul's like, oh, I don't know. I don't pay attention to my newsletter, homie. You gotta pay attention to what's in your fucking name. If this is under Rizin name, they are incidentally responsible for everything that's done in their name, whether they know about it or not. So Rizin's has gotta step it up. We'll see for the next show. I think there'll be a lot more hype going to Rizin 34, especially with what the car looks like now. So I think there'll be a lot more talk about it, and we can definitely see if the same thing happens. All I can say is that I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I'm not going to risk it myself. I don't think you guys should risk it either. And I'm pretty sure unless they rescind these DMCA strikes, I know for a fact Teep's not gonna talk about it anymore. I mean, and he's even willing, like he was telling me that he's willing to take down the graphics or the whole thing, and just it's fine. He doesn't mind whatever they want. But I mean, dude, I just the Epic Rising people, they gotta fix this. They gotta fix.
I'll tell you this. So when in the tweet that was about this show happening tonight, I posted the Rizin Landmark 2 poster. Nothing happened.
That's
so
right.
I'm assuming so nothing's. I don't think nothing's gonna happen to us. I don't know if we are on some sort of white list or because we have Rizin in the title, like we somehow forego the DMCA. I have no idea, but we're gonna still pay attention to it. Jay, Chris, and I will still be here. Whoever else, we're gonna still be covering the Rizin thing regardless, and we're not gonna stop. And
Absolutely.
I don't think we're gonna get DMCA'd, but I don't blame anybody who's like, yeah, I'm not exactly gonna post a photo or a poster or a GIF because I don't want to get fucking I don't want to be sent to copyright strike hell.
Well, come to think of it, if we do get, DMCA'd, let's be real. There are other options, a lot of which we can't even talk about on this show.
Well, exactly. I don't want
other options.
Yeah, I don't want to promote those options, but listen, that's what happens. It's a ripple effect when you tell your audience, when you do that, your audience is going to do nefarious shit to watch your shows, and it's just going to hurt your company financially. It's gonna
it could turn some of them off to where they don't even watch anymore. They don't even want to deal with it. They don't want to get up late, and you know what I mean.
That too as well. Yeah.
So I mean, I want the Epic Rising people to at least fix those 3 DMCA strikes. Kaposa Grabaka Hitman #1, Teep the Junk, the show that we were on, #2, and then that Armand guy that posts the fight card for us too. Those 3. Just remedy those 3 at least, and then let it be known from then on that okay, you can't be posting pictures or anything anymore. So.
Of course, that's even done. Listen, you should have the right to post a picture. I'm again. Listen. If you don't post full fight videos, I'm fine with that. But you should be able to post a poster, a photo, a GIF. Listen, GIFs help more than anything. That's myth that GIFs hurt business. People tune in when they see GIFs to the next show. That's a fact. People get interested when they see like a little bit of an appetizer.
That's how I've hyped the shows to my friends on the outside world and everything. I bring up the highlight. And I go, hey, look at this awesome, like the Kinoshita stomp from the first Trigger event, the best stomp of the first stomp of the new era, the first stomp KO of the new era, even though it was a no contest or whatever. But anyways, that highlight was so badass. I bring up all the time to show people in the GIF form. So it's like you're absolutely right, Andrew. Those GIFs help promote the event and help show it off to new potential audiences. And it's just, dude, they just got to fix this DMCA situation. And I know it's coming up into next fight week already. So that's why I want to address it now and get this taken care of now this weekend, because next weekend is the next Epic Rising show, Epic Rising 34. Mm-hmm.
So, and Rising 34, Marazon Intech Arena, Osaka, Japan. That show will take place that show will kick off at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Live Now next Saturday.
That's right. Thank you, Jay Chris. Absolutely.
No 5 a.m. call, so we can stay up to watch it.
Oh, you definitely know I'll be staying up to watch that. But I was just saying that dude, this fight week is going to be coming up here this next week, and they're not going to have time to be dealing with the DMCA stuff. So we got to get DMCA stuff fixed now before they're in the fight week.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, gentlemen, we have finished up our discussions for the day. JayWolf, I want to give you an opportunity to plug all of your shit, and Jay Chris, you can do your good old ending montage.
Well, I'm not gonna have Lenny Hart basically help me because, of course, I am nowhere near my computer. But yeah, let's go ahead and JayWolf, you can plug your shit and get us out of here.
Okay, yeah. Look, just you guys can just follow me at JayWolf. My @ is the same as been since way back in like 05 or whatever, when I first started commenting, is JayWolf1 at Twitter. And that's how you know it's me, because it's misspelled. That's how you know it's the actual me. And it's been misspelled since way back in the day. It's my name and my spirit animal, basically. So, and I will follow you back if you're a real person. I follow everybody back. As long as you follow me, I will follow you back. So give me a follow, and follow the We Are Rising podcast that we're on right now, the best podcast on the internet, giving this epic Rising content. There is nobody else out in the mixed martial arts world that's doing this awesome content like the We Are Rising podcast. I'm just so privileged to be here, and I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank the fans for being involved in this epic Rising, the superior rule set that I love so much. And I want to ask you guys to please continue supporting them. And this whole DMCA thing that just happened, we got to get that fixed. But please do not let that turn you off from this awesome company, the Epic Rising Fighting Federation. Because I'm telling you guys, superior rules that you've seen these fighters get more and more acclimated all the time. Now the international athletes are going to be coming back. I mean, dude, we're just in for so much fun. I think we're entering a new golden era this year. Like Jay Chris was saying, it's the 20th anniversary of Dynamite. They're going to go big this year in June for the 20th anniversary Dynamite show. Going to try to break the 91,000 attendance record. It's just going to be so much fun. I just love it. So I just want to thank everybody, and please keep supporting, and actually, buy the pay-per-views on Live Now. Don't illegally stream them. Actually support Epic Rising so we can continue to get this awesome superior rule set, pride rules, and everything. And of course, I just want to end by saying again, pride never die. Pride is rising, baby. I'm talking about the almighty Pride FC, greater than the UFC. And the Rising is the new era, Pride 2.0, baby. See you guys for the next show.
Couldn't have said it better ourselves. Andrew, they can follow you on Twitter at abenja1 and check your articles out on MMAsucker.com. They can follow me on Twitter at ChrisGary92, on Instagram at ChristianGary92, and through Focus Fights on Facebook, Instagram. Yes, the Instagram is still alive, on Twitter and YouTube. And if you want to check out more content from the Rising Fighting Federation, you can go ahead and search for them on Twitter. They are at Rising_PR and at Rising_English. They have a Facebook page and a Instagram account under the same handle, Rising Fighting Federation. They're on YouTube as well, where their videos have reached just about billions of views. And they are on the web at jp.risinff.com. But other than that, I would close out with Lenny Hart, but I am nowhere near my computer, and I'm pretty sure Lenny Hart wants me to shut the fuck up and not talk.
No. Before you go, Chris, we gotta give a special thanks to somebody who also joined us again, June K.
June K, Smile Bomb, Random Acoustic Thoughts, which of course JayWolf is your channel. No, we thank y'all for joining us.
That's Teef's channel. Yes.
Right. Of course. But still, though, we hope to be back with y'all more when it comes down to the next Rising show, which will be Rising 34 next Saturday night from the Maruzan Intech Arena in Osaka, Japan, live on Live Now. But until then, we thank y'all for being with us, and we are glad you are a part of the Rising Foundation, and we hope you joined us and enjoy what we have to say on the We Are Rising podcast. Peace, my peoples. See y'all later.